facts for today. And I did tell you that we're going to be looking at the judiciary. Too many things are happening in the country, but as we also cast our minds back to what happened in 2023, we will also have to look forward because, of course, like someone said yesterday on the show, the reason why you have the rear view mirror in front of you is so that you can also see what's happening behind you while you're going forward. In other words, everything works together, the side mirrors, everything. And as we're looking forward to a 2024 and what will come of it, we'll also have to take into consideration all the things that happened in 2023 that may not have been right and how we can correct those wrongs going forward. My guest is the executive director of the Extra Step Initiative. He's also, I like to call him a good governance advocate and political rasta. Eugene Abels, thank you so much for joining us and Happy New Year.
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
Same to you. I haven't seen my Christmas chicken. I haven't seen my New Year car. I don't know how we're doing this New Year like this. It's not right.
But for the chicken, we're still chasing it. This village chicken, the way they behave. They run all over. They track a lot so they can race.
Okay. Interesting. Let's start with I think one of the most intriguing messages I've seen about, or rather something said about the judiciary that has made me shudder for once. I mean, I've heard people say all kinds of things about the judiciary, but a former head of the Bar Association to hit back so hard at the judiciary, of course, it calls for concern. And I'm making reference to Olisa Agbakoba, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, making a harsh critique, of the Supreme Court on Thursday last week. He called it the worst he has ever seen in 45 years of his practice. And he said, and I quote, he accused the judiciary. In fact, he says they are harboring a mafia that blocks qualified individuals from becoming justices. Before we get to that part, Eugene, while I was growing up, by the way, I'm from a house where we have a lot of lawyers, very good ones. My grandfather used to say that he said this in his old age, that when he was a lawyer in this country, the justice lady was totally blind. But now the justice lady sees the son of the rich, son of the poor. She sees everything. She's got one eye open and she's cheating the system. And as a child, I didn't really understand because I was a teenager at the time he had retired. So I didn't really understand what he meant. But then the older I got, and now it becomes more and more clearer what my grandfather meant. Let's take a look at what the picture painted by a judiciary system or judicial system in the past year.
My own grandfather too became got his PhD in 1944. So
it's interesting.
So I was supposed to be a lawyer.
Yeah, we're all supposed to, but we dodged it.
We dodged it. Now, you asked a question. This conversation has been ongoing for a long time. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, that's why for a long time they were advocating that there's a need to separate the Minister of Justice from the office of the Attorney General.
Yes.
I'm not a lawyer, so I want to avoid the legal terms like administration of criminal justice system, we'll just use basic management terms. And what has come to be, what we're seeing today, is there's a problem with the management of dispensing of justice in the country. And this issue of management has affected how the appointees behave. What the customers are not getting satisfaction, so people are complaining. These were offices and people were held in very high esteem. Suddenly, kids are even throwing tantrums at them. People are insulting them. Recently, most of the justices, when they are retiring, they come out in their speeches, they say things as it is. Yeah, meaning that while they're in office, they don't speak by virtue of their culture. Now, so there's a whole lot. The institutions that are supposed to, the recruitment process, the selection process is showing the fault is becoming obvious. You cannot have sorting in the universities and expect that it will not affect the bench. Yes. That's why these days, when you even hire a lawyer to do an agreement of basic things for you, even if you're not you sit down and bend your waist to read
You have to
between the
read through
lines.
it, yes.
Line for line to make sure that it wasn't a copy and paste thing, but that it was administered, it was structured for that particular transaction or for that purpose. So the institutions that are supposed to monitor, that are supposed to supervise, they have all suddenly, their weaknesses have become exposed. You know, we like making general statements. We suddenly say Nigeria lacks strong institutions. These institutions were strong in the past. What happened to them? You hear excuses like, "Oh, they don't have tools to work with." Please go and look at the massive budgets that are allocated to the judiciary. There are three tiers of it: federal, state, and at the local government level. Now, imagine that if Lagos State had folded its hands and Lagos State hadn't come up with front loading and those modifications which they did, which most people are now beginning to copy. Where will Nigeria be? So we're here, we're making excuses. The chicken has come home to roost. Those who benefited from the past are not doing much to change the system. It is practically impossible to get a date in the appeal court. And you hear that the law judges are overwhelmed. You have been overwhelmed for 50 years. What are you doing about it? If a cashier in the bank tells you that handles 1,000 customers a day, says that, well, come next month to take your money, how will you feel? If a doctor says, I'm overwhelmed, that all the doctors have traveled abroad, so I cannot attend to you as a patient, how will you feel? Is there any wonder that we have the structural defects where, while the normal, the south of its judiciary, the laws are different. When we go to the north, the laws are different in the same country. So nobody is going to come and change this apart from those who are in the law profession. That's why I keep saying that Nigerian Bar Association has lost its relevance, its salt. That the essence for the establishment, I believe, was supposed to help change some of those things, not to be insultive or to be antagonistic. No. But when you go for your conferences, we expect that there should be new innovations that should aid the management of justice and the dispensation of justice, criminal justice in the country.
Let's look at what happened right after the elections. In fact, before the elections, many have queried why the judiciary now has become the ones who put people in office. I'll use the Imo State situation as a case in point. Many people have queried it over and over again. Arguments have been made for and against it. And then, of course, we've seen a lot play out in this 2023, the end of the year, with the Kanu incident, with Plateau, I think with Kanu, which other states? We've seen, yes.
Plateau.
Yes, we've seen a couple of, things that have happened that have called the courts to question. How do you think that we got to a point where, I mean, it's done everywhere in the world. If the elections happen and then you have a problem, you can go to court. But then, how do we get to a point where the court now is more like the major determinant of who holds an office as opposed to the people and the numbers?
Yeah, the political class. There's a massive competition in the political space for the management of our resources. So people go to all kinds of lengths to achieve that. Some bury babies, some sell houses, some take bank loans. All sorts of things are done to achieve. So why you now look at them, says politics a profession. The man is looking at the balance sheet of almost $300-400 million. For him, it's a full-time profession. Yeah. And you see it when they get into office, how arrogant they become. So, and the past, even while NPN, during the Third Republic, during the Second Republic, the justices were warning. Even the third, they were warning that we should not allow the courts to begin to determine the outcome of elections. That's not the purpose. The courts are supposed to guide when people want to violate their sweet ground now, which is the Constitution. Yes, but not for them to begin to direct, appoint. So now what the politicians are doing is that when you want to run for elections, you need to prepare for one, how to get your party ticket, two, how to get security on your side, three, how to influence the appropriate INEC officials to be in the areas that concerns you, four, you set money for the judiciary. Fine. So the judiciary now has now been captured into the equation. We've heard all sorts of things. If you've listened to the likes of Olisa Bakuba and Chiko Dukemelu, they don't mince words, or Femi Fanana. People have said all kinds. I don't want to be derogatory here. Yes, but as it stands, money seems to be the issue. But the question is, how long can we keep doing this? Because when people, this is the only place, we love cliches. Oh, the hope of the common man. Nobody's common again. No, nobody's common. When people begin to lose complete hope, they will resort to self-help. I like to remind people of 1983 January, when Omar Diko, when they were saying people were eating from the dustbin, and the NPN people, then you had the prominent speakers there like Akinloye, Omar Diko, that said rubbish, NPN, National Party of Nigeria, will rule for 300 years and so on. And the arrogance was evident. And all it took was 31st December, we had the song, Bonnie Blue, and it was all over. And they all suffered. And Nigeria suffered. So do we want to go back there? We have been given young boys, go and read the footpaths, yeah? It was written by a 25-year-old boy. He was administering justice, managing most towns in Nigeria. Really? They set up these Oyibo boys who came, they were small boys who set up those structures that our PhD holders inherited. Everything they gave to us, we have ruined them. So we have built bigger buildings. The Supreme Court of the United Kingdom does not have a building. They rent a space whenever there's a need to sit. They do not even have a written constitution. Their things work. What is wrong with us? So the buck currently stops at the decks of the current Chief Justice and the Attorney General. They can decide to put their feet down and say, we're going to make things work. And I don't see... Yes.
How are they going to make that decision if they're benefiting from it? Don't forget, the former Attorney General still has a case to answer. I remember just before the end of the Buhari administration, Mr. Malami was summoned by the National Assembly, and then, that's the last we heard of it. If people are benefiting from the system, and whether you're the Attorney General or the Chief Justice or whatever, and you're benefiting from the system, why would you want to put your foot down? Why would you want to cut off your nose to spite your face?
If you are the Chief Justice, you can't be older, you're older than me. You're obviously over 60. What do you find that you have not benefited? Do you want to drive a Lamborghini? You have it. What are you looking for? Your kids can be less than 30. What is that? But you can leave your name, that you change the system. For me, this conversation here and the speech made by Abakuba, it's a call for a review that things have gotten to rock bottom. Remember the River State case and Amechi, which was a shocker. Then they took it to the next level with Imo State. Then look at what has happened, the arrogance that has happened in Kogi, because they know they'll tell you go to court. Yeah. So that's where we are. So if at the zenith of our legal practice of the bench, we are complaining, imagine the rubbish going on at the customary court level and probably the Sharia court level. Just imagine it. Now, don't forget that the recruitment selection process by now will have expected that should have been a bit transparent like the law school. But you suddenly see, I'm a witness that politicians have laden the system with their wives. relatives and girlfriends.
Allegedly.
Yes. I know, I can name 10 now. The most they'll do, they'll just detain me for 2 days. They're sorry me. I can name 10 without blinking. Yes. But is that the best way to go about it? With such a major institution which holds this nation together, are we not playing with fire? I'm even wondering that in this era of conversations trending, why did Alisa Bakuba's speech not trend? Maybe it was too complex for that generation to understand.
Well, I mean,
because he did not just criticize everything he spoke about. He made recommendations for the way forward. That's how he has always spoken for the past 30, 40 years.
Something that is worthy of note for me is something that he said, and I want to quote him. He talks about the fact that he's been applying to be a justice for a long time. And many people have hinged on it to say, oh, well, he's just salty about the fact that he's not become a justice and someone's son became, a judge, etc., etc. And some daughters, and your former governor has a justice in his family now. I think a second one, I think so. But he attributed his rejection.
He's even a life bencher without going to court.
To court.
One day.
Interesting.
Life bencher. Yes.
Interesting.
I didn't know that you could have ceremonial life benchers.
I didn't either.
I didn't know. I think, since me and you refuse to do law, we can go that way and apply.
Let me go back to what Olisa Gbakuba said. He attributed his rejection to the mixture of administration of justice, which he believes should be independent of the legislature, with judicial administration, which he again considers subject to legislative oversight. Agbakuba argued that the current lack of clear legal framework for appointing senior judges leaves the process solely in the hands of the National Judicial Council and Supreme Court justices, creates an envelope or an environment, ripe for nepotism and cronyism. So it goes back to what we were saying. I mean, people have also pointed fingers to, for example, a case where Governor Wike buys cars, builds houses for these judges. And many people will say he's bought their consciences.
A clear interested party. And we had some people to cash in lieu of the properties. And the National Judicial Council was mute. Probably they had pressed them out. Going to labor like you don't talk when you're chewing. In Nigeria, an interested party who had cases in court will take state funds, funds of a subnational, and build houses, offices, bought furnishing, and Nigeria kept quiet. Even built halls. Nigeria kept quiet. That's the zenith of it.
How long can this impunity go on? And like you said, at the core of this are politicians, whether we like it or not. And we're also seeing a case where
we cannot blame the politicians. That's why when people say, "Oh, Tinubu," I say, no, Tinubu did not conduct an election.
Okay.
Somebody applied for that job, was given the job, went to the National Assembly, obtained public funds, and expended it. And you saw Agbakuba said that, I've never seen such a foolish country like this before. When it is time for him to account for his actions, the Constitution says no. That the onus is on you to come and prove. I'm asking you, I'm telling that the job you did was below standard. Mm-hmm. You're telling me I need to come and get evidence and prove that he didn't do her job. So when people are fighting, oh, the presidency, anybody can appoint the INEC chairman. I don't have a problem with that. But we must amend that part of the Constitution. That if you expend public funds, you must be accountable for your actions. If not, in 2019, the INEC chairman, knowing fully well that electronic voters electronic mode was not acceptable, went and accepted funds from the public, from the National Assembly, they expended it. When the issues came up, the Supreme Court said this was not recognized. Shouldn't such a person be sanctioned? In 2023, the same thing was repeated. Public funds. So, bringing it back home, if you're asking how long, we are rock bottom. We are we are rock bottom. Look at the expert emotions flying left, right, and center.
But you said something.
Who is supervising who?
But you said something.
Anything not supervised is rubbish.
You said something about the fact that the whole country kept quiet, and we've been keeping quiet, and the silence is so deafening. So again, are we really ready to put an end to this? Or, I mean, which rock bottom again can we get to? If Olisa Bakoba has to describe it this way, and you and I are still talking about it, and you're saying, what, rock bottom? It doesn't seem like we're there yet.
I'm a beneficiary of when things were working in Nigeria, and Nigeria has also happened to me. I've been trying to get a date in the appeal court for almost 9 years now, trying to enforce my rights. So imagine the number of cases. But if it was a political case matter, it will be dealt with. It will be front loaded, and you see all kinds of actions will happen to it. So the rest of our life and ecosystem is not important as much as our politics.
This is a direct indictment on the judiciary. Whether you are a lawyer, you're a judge, a senior advocate of Nigeria, this is an indictment. And
everybody in the management of the judiciary and in the dispensation of justice, everybody is an indictment on all of them. It's not in my position to come and change things. I do not expect the politicians to want to change things because they want to control the judiciary. The onus is upon the judiciary, those who are in it, to decide to change things. Why do they not want the likes of Abakuba? It's like when we came into banking from the modern banks, when our colleagues in the likes of then Union Bank, AfriBank, AfriBank, First Bank, they felt threatened. Yes, the first time people were told that you could transfer money from one point to the other, some people petitioned the CBN. The end was up, have come. They want to come and defraud the system. They prefer that ledger where you came to the bank and took numbers and sat down. You come back the next day, the cashier is eating banana and granuts. And if you do not exhibit loyalty, she will not pay you. The notion number 5, you go. Let me ask you this question. When was the last time you wrote a check?
I don't even remember. I've not even gone into a banking hall in a long time. I go there if I need to withdraw dollars, but I don't go anywhere close to a bank on a normal day.
People don't do anything. People made all of this happen. It was an industry I worked for 25 years. Now, why will such a sensitive place? So those civil servants, a lot of them are very learned, do not want to open that window because they're going to meet some very stiff competition. You can imagine somebody who's a Queen's Counsel coming here. They're going to meet some tough competition, and some of them will be sidestepped in the process.
We have to go on a break.
To remain closed. Yeah.
We have to go on a break. Quick break. When we come back, Eugene Abels is still with us, and I'll be opening up the phone line to take your thoughts and your comments. What do we do? Do we have the people in the legislature, the judiciary, who are willing to change things? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
More talk, news, and sports after this. Everyone is at the table for lunch. Mom is bringing in the jollof rice, and then...
Hey, John!
Sorry, Mom.
Hello? Can I order some jollof rice to be delivered?
Mama saves the day. Lunch is here.
Mom, I got some Coke too.
Just come and eat, Joe.
Cook up memorable moments because family lunch and an ice cold Coke make a recipe for wonder. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
It's What's Up Lagos. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays.
All the Wura Kura Shura. What if? What must? What should? What do you think?
We call it the Musing. You call it fantastic. Mondays to Friday. Keep it locked right here on What's Up Lagos with me, Feta.
And stretch.
What's Up Lagos?
Discover Lipton's flavorful and balanced taste. With our unique expertise, we select fine quality tea leaves from selected tea gardens around the world. Experience Lipton Yellow Label's flavorful and balanced taste in every sip. Discover Lipton's flavorful and balanced taste.
Collins, your eyes are always sharp and clear despite your prolonged stay on the computer. What's your secret?
My guy, it is Visual Gain, my nutritional eye support. Visual Gain, an eye antioxidant effective in the management and prevention of glaucoma and cataract. A balanced formula for healthy eyes and good vision. A perfect blend of lutein, bilberry fruit extract, zeaxanthin, vitamin A, and zinc. It protects the eyes from harmful UV rays. It prevents and treats dry, red, and irritable eyes. It also maintains image clarity, visual acuity, and reduces eye fatigue. Marketed and distributed by Almond Ethicals Limited, a registered trademark of Gain World. Available in pharmacies near you. Use Visual Gain today to maintain a healthy eye.
As the Christmas bells ring and joy begins to flow, in this season Chivita juice is the way to go. Correct enjoyment, cheerful celebrations. In this season Chivita juice is the way to go. Chivita season is here. Whoever you are, this Christmas, enjoy your Chivita.
Everyone has a Chivita. Enjoy your Chivita this season.
Enjoy your Chivita.
You define better odd. I bet you one play cause over 1.5. I bet you one bet. Say both seem no go score at all. Oh yeah, we get better payout. No worry, we there for you. Our odd chapura out. You know they feel the show. Oh lo, we there for you. Oh, we there for you. You see for Bet Baba, you feel we money. Bet Baba, cash out today easy. Or Bet Baba, we get online games for you. We get better bonus. And we know that yeah, now Bet Baba day so. Cash up, no sharp. No darling, no. Welcome to Bet Baba.
Register now on betbaba.ng. Not for people under 18.
My people, Sakpan no go finish you. Amen. Opportunities have no go pass you by. Amen. This double one play game we will just play now. It no go pass you by. Everybody they go.
Oh yes, it's double season with OnePlay.ng. Play with 500 naira and win double. On Nigeria Info FM daily winnings from 60,000 naira daily to 120,000 naira daily. Just go to OnePlay.ng and play with 500 naira, and in a few seconds your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347*880*3#. The more you play, the better your chances of winning the double draw every day on WhatsApp Lagos and the Game On shows on weekdays, and on the weekends join the Football Frenzy show. But that's not all. Every Friday you get the chance to win a jackpot. Remember to dial *347*880*3#. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lottery and Gaming Commission.
3 emerging artists, 4 mega producers, 3 record deals with Empire. Do you have what it takes? Pepsi Music Academy, in partnership with Empire, is Nigeria's confirmed music development program. Scan the QR code on any of our cool interactive Pepsi bottles or visit www.pepsimusicacademy.ng to register for free and stand a chance to kickstart your music career with a 2-year record deal with Empire. Pepsi Music Academy. Stardom begins here. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
Ooh. It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, Go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
Hello, Mrs. Martins.
Yes. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, how may I help you?
Junior's body temperature is high and he's complaining about headaches and body aches.
Not to worry. Get Bruston and suspension.
Okay, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston End Suspension for Children is a sweet-tasting brand of ibuprofen which provides relief against toothache, pains, and fever in children after 30 minutes.
Hello, ma. Oh, Junior, stop that.
Is everything okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, ma. Junior is fine now. In fact, Junior, sorry, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston End Suspension for Children. Always take the product after meal. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. A quality product from Rambaxay.
There are loads of moments that give me cool vibes when I get that Jara or when I get that sweet bonus from my 9 mobile network.
Enjoy 9 confirmed with 1,000 Naira activation bonus, 900% bonus on every recharge, double data bonus on your first month recharge, and a whopping 100% data bonus for 6 months. Get a new SIM or dial *1400# to migrate.
9 Mobile. Here for you. Here for Ninja.
Ladies, I need to do some back-to-school shopping for my son, pa, and I really don't want to face market stress, pa.
That's so true. It's been on my mind for days.
Hey, moms, leave the hassle to us. Get trendy, unique, and affordable school supplies all in one place for your kids to show up in style.
That's right. Get more for less on your back-to-school shopping at Skid Store. Visit our website via www.skids.ng or outlets in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to shop now. For inquiries, please call 0807-728-5058.
Now, every mama and papa they dream make their pikin succeed for life. Go put your pikin for Bridge International Academies, where them go fit get ogbonge education, where go make them become better person for life. The good news be say school fees for Bridge International Academies na shikini money, and their school tanda everywhere for inside Lagos and Osun State. Sharply enter www.bridge.sch.ng or call 0700 333 2222 to register your pikin and to know which of their school they your area.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day, no matter when I show you.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
It's due you December. That means making statements your way, just like the queens of Real Housewives of Lagos. So just relax, because it's about you enjoying top-tier entertainment like Wura, Agu, School Run, and so much more. Only on Showmax. Do You December is also for the young ones and international movie lovers. Do You with SpongeBob, Fast X, and No Hard Feelings this festive, anywhere, anytime, without interruptions. Do You December is all about you. Subscribe now to showmax.com.
Who will be the Season 7 champion of the I Beg to Differ student debate competition? Clarity of thought, evidence-based argument, logicality of points. 32 debaters will go head-to-head, face-to-face. The I Beg to Differ student debate competition returns in February 2024. Auditions are now open for secondary school students in Lagos aged 13 to 16. To begin, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Click on the I Beg to Differ banner on the homepage. Pick one topic from the list provided. Argue 2 minutes in favor and 2 minutes against the topic. Upload your 4 minutes audio recording in MP3 format. Complete the registration form and submit. Auditions close on the 7th of January 2024. For sponsorship, call 070-3498-4352 or email info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, Season 7.
listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
There's a reason why over 1 million people tune into Hard Facts every day. We discuss in-depth stories with sources behind the facts.
The Lagos State High Court has
convicted,
suspended the Chicago certificate story. It's never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
And she was busy campaigning with her husband, knowing that.
You should not put happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Marianne Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's still the big hard fact on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We've got 14 minutes on the clock. My guest is the Executive Director of the Extra Step Initiative, Eugene Abels, has been talking to us about the judiciary and what must be done in order for us to have our judicial system back, one that's working, one that can be relied upon. But would like to hear your thoughts and comments, especially if you're a lawyer, or maybe you're a child of a judge, or maybe you have headed the NBA at some point. Well, this conversation is about you. It's your constituency that's on the chopping board today, so would like to hear your thoughts. Do you share Olisa Agbakoba's position? Do you agree that something has to give in the judicial system in Nigeria? And do you agree that there are changes that have to be made? The question is, how ready is the judicial system to be changed? And those who make up the judicial system in this country, how ready are you guys for that change that we all require? 0700 993 993 993. That's 0700 993 993 993. If you're a lady, call 01465 7190. Or better still, you could join the conversation on WhatsApp. You could post a comment on our live feed. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. Also on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM 99.3. We would like to hear from you. Quickly, I want to read this message before we go into your calls. Someone says, this might sound unprecedented, yet a novel in the Constitution. Why does the Constitution have it in all tiers of government to vote in the administrators or to vote in the administrators or politicians by the citizenry, but cannot vote them out by the same citizenry when they're considered incompetent or unproductive? Why impeachment by the legislative the only option which doesn't represent the opinions of the masses? Chisco is asking that question. Unfortunately, Eugene is not a lawyer. He's not a constitutional lawyer. But let's take this call from Femi, who's calling us via Skype. Hello, Femi. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, Marianne.
Good evening. Where are you calling us from, Femi?
I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing is that, Marianne, see, your guest over there is saying absolutely the truth. And what Olubafsa said, these are facts. I think, as a matter of fact, most institutions, even in Nigeria, are under siege right now. Marianne, as I'm talking to you now, there's some things you can say on your radio. And it's not even like that in any democratic society. Most of these politicians, they have most of these judges as their wives. Do you think that they're not going to influence decisions? Do you think they're not going to influence most of the decisions that comes out of the court? It's quite a shame. I don't know how we can get out of this. Even the judiciary, the press, every sector of the Nigeria as a country, we're in a big problem, and we don't know how we're going to get out of the hands of these politicians. That's my contribution, Maria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for calling, Femi, calling us there from Dallas, Texas. All right. Well, the phone lines are now open. I want to take your thoughts, comments. 0700 993 993 993. You can call 01465 7190. Join the conversation right there. Simeon Benga here on Facebook Live says, our judiciary needs to try more in order to do their statutory functions. Common man relies on them. I'm sure he means the common man relies on the judiciary. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Sean Lady, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. I want to thank your guest. You have said it all. MBA, what are they doing? The other day I asked, this profession, where you have people like Chief Femi Falana, You have Chief Olisagbakoba. You have people like Odin Carlo. You have people like Laboros Oshomo, people like Barrister Bane. And the judiciary allowed the politicians. The other day, Bishop Coker said, let's make these people keep their redundant that they don't have job. But no way. You hear the president calling one or two to come and join him. You call the INEC and the judiciary now to help him and sort us out from this stormy water. So the judges, whatever, or the judiciary, no, the way people are rubbishing them before the tribunal, that presidential whatever people say, they are the cause. Though it's not late, if they can, sort themselves out from this thing, they deal with these politicians, I think it will be better for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris, for calling. We appreciate it. Eugene, like you said, Olisagbakoba made recommendations which must be followed. But I want to sincerely ask you, from the trajectory that you've seen in the past, let me not limit it to 1 year, past 2 years and counting, are we ready for change? And I'm not just talking about the judiciary. I'm talking about, because you see, when we single out these parts, this aspects of government, it makes it look like maybe they're from Mars or from a different planet. But then we make up all of these people. How ready are we as a country to make our institutions or the systems begin to work as they should?
Yeah, these things are not rocket science. Bakuba spoke directly to the president. I think he had set the milestones for the president. It's for him to take it and run. He appointed people. Out of them, some are busy making noise and all over the place. While the one in the Ministry of Interior has given us a date by January 8th. You do not need to go into any passport office to do any capturing.
Yes.
Meaning that a lot of immigration officers are going to go slim. They'll be more healthy. But basically, somebody is thinking and wants to leave a mark for himself. The woman in immigration, she has not fought it, but she's adopted it. The minister is going to take the credit eventually to come to the president. We can do the same thing with the judiciary, but we have reduced the national conversation to very basic things. The politicians deliberately do it to distract us. So if you go to have a conversation, people will be big degree. They'll be talking about subsidy, refinery. What is a refinery? Refinery that you pay. Toyota would have built Port Harcourt refinery too. Will come and build it for you in 7 months. Just pay. If you can't pay, they will structure a loan for you and you get it done. We have reduced, and you hear the politicians say projects. What is projects? What are they for? Did you have a conversation for the people? You're planning for the top. You believe I need a hospital. If you do an analysis, a slight investment, you might find that not hospital we might need water. But for you, it is what you want because you want to take 10% of that money. So the buck is at the table of President Bola Tinubu. What kind of legacy does he want to leave for us, for himself? Thank God his wife has said that money is not their problem. So it's not about grabbing. It's about him coming to leave a legacy for himself. And in doing that, I want to see him taking charge of the conversation. Imagine that the president says that for the courts that are within my ambit of control, I am directing my attorney general that let us even review performance of the judges. Yes, if we automate the system, we will know how long it takes you to handle a case. We will know how many years it has taken you to handle one case. Today in the Premiership that we watch, we pay our money, we go down, bring them. No player hides. The computer will tell you how many passes you made, not just how many correct passes did you make. We can do all of these things. So we do a performance review. What is the turnaround time? Is the judiciary serving the people? Are they meeting the obligations for what they're designed for? What are the quality of people employed at the lower levels of the bench? Are they qualified? Can they hold their own? We have stories of people writing judgments for supposed members of the bench. But if you know you're going to face a national test or a form of review, you will have to sit up.
Absolutely.
Anything without supervision will amount to zero. Anything in life, if you take your child to the school gate and leave the child comes back and you don't ask for homework, the child will graduate outside the school, probably in an Indian hen bunk. And so we cannot keep playing the ostrich as a nation. Yes, and everybody's just doing what they want to do. Everybody's struggling for the positions, but nobody's setting clear targets for them. Yes, there has to be targets.
Okay.
If the president says how many cases are there, no case should be there more than 1 year, everybody will sit up.
Okay.
The NJC, if you remember what Abakuba talked about, the NJC, that why would the Chief Justice be the one appointing members of a body that is supposed to supervise the system?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right.
I mean,
so
isn't that detail for a lot of things that are happening in the country? The president's, appointing INEC officials or the chairman of INEC, and some of these things are supposed to be independent. The president appointing the head of ICPC, EFCC. What's the independence? Of course, these are things that need to be called to question.
Yeah, for the INEC, I like to repeat myself, let the president appoint INEC chairman. But we must amend the law to make whoever is INEC chairman to be accountable, whereby at the end of elections, you will be the one going to defend yourself to prove the cases that you conducted proper elections. Once you do that, we've turned the table against them. They can even appoint you, but when it's time, you come and account. Not for the candidates. Not for the candidate going to INEC will be playing shenanigans with the candidate to even get electoral materials to take before the courts. But when the onus is before INEC, that you need to come and account for what you did. Then we will now begin to, then whoever is, even when they tell you to do bad things, you're going to stand before the courts. You will be a bit more responsible.
Okay.
Are you aware that INEC is supposed to audit the political parties?
Well, yeah.
How they expended funds.
Till today, the INEC has not been able to make party finances public. Yes. I mean.
Yes. How can we be a serious country when INEC does not? INEC depends on the political parties for the registers. Each member, INEC should have their NIN number and everything. And it should be uploaded online.
We have to go.
21 years after.
We have to go, but quickly, let me go to the messages that are coming because I see so many of them coming in. Momo from Adamo here says the judiciary would have been helping us by thoroughly interpreting the law in matters affecting the public and not hiding under the ambiguity during judgment. And again, they should help us to ensure that there's digitalization in governance to measure up with other claims. Another person here says the Clifford's 1922 constitution paved way for the Legislative Council from the Nigerian Council, in which most of the constitutions were made for their own parochial interest till date. Afis from Papa, thank you. Someone says I should ask you a question, but we have just 30 seconds. He says, ask your guest how he expects the president, who is the main beneficiary of a bad legal system, to change it. Chuks in Ikorodu. Eugene, 10 seconds.
His wife said that he's not looking for money. So if he's not looking for money, he's looking for a name. He can write his name in gold.
Okay. Well, Eugene Abels is the executive director of
Lagos. It's been a very bumpy ride throughout this year. And trust me, I know. But guess what? You made it. Yes, you listening to me, you made it. So please, who better to win this money than you? You deserve it there. And I would not want you to miss out on it. It's double season on oneplay.ng. And you could be one of the next lucky winners. All you have to do is dial a simple code with 500 naira. Yes, 500 naira, and that's it. Look, Lagos, OnePlay is giving out double what they used to give out before. And all you have to do is just go to the website on oneplay.ng. Yes, that's oneplay.ng. Choose your station, Nigeria Info. Play with 500 naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket will be in the draw. Okay? And if you don't have a smartphone, you can cram this code *347 *880 *3#. I said cram because I do not want you to forget it. Do not forget this code *347 *880 *3#. That's the magic code that can save you from Sakpa. And you need to keep that in your right hand. Lagos, remember that the more you play, the better your chances of winning in the double frenzy that happens every day. And that's not all, because the giveaway is plenty. Every Friday, there will be a jackpot. So please, what are you doing, Lagos? Why are you sleeping on this? Dial the code *347 *880 *3# with 500 naira, and you can be the next lucky person. Remember to play responsibly, and if you're under 18, I don't want to see your hand there. All you can do is collect commission from people that are above 18. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a neighbor to tell a neighbor, and thank me later. OnePlay is a registered trademark under the Lashu Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
This is an infomercial.
Oh yeah, give me confirm. Turn it up loud. Keep it confirm. 9 times bonus. Very confirm. All data text. Very confirm.
Enjoy 9 confirms with 1,000 naira. Activation bonus 900% bonus on every recharge. Double data bonus on your first month recharge and a whopping 100% data bonus for 6 months. Get a new SIM or dial *1400# to migrate.
9 Mobile.
It's due you December. That means making statements your way, just like the queens of Real Housewives of Lagos. So just relax, because it's about you enjoying top-tier entertainment like Wura, Agu, School Run, and so much more. Only on Showmax. Do You December is also for the young ones and international movie lovers. Do You with SpongeBob, Fast X, and No Hard Feelings this festive, anywhere, anytime, without interruptions. Do You December is all about you. Subscribe now to showmax.com.
Today, we are out to ask Nigerians what they think about John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink. Come with me, guys.
So good.
Kai, is it well?
Really nice, oh. My kids can't get enough of it.
I love John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink.
So refreshing and nourishing.
Great. So tell me, how do you enjoy John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink?
Add water. Stir. And enjoy instant goodness.
So there you have it. Everyone here loves John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink. You don't need milk or sugar. Just add water for instant.